All right, guys, there you go. That's my 2018 Chevy Suburban. This thing's got about 150,000 miles on it. The transmission has got an issue, and it's slipping right now. So I went and got some of this Lucas, what is it, stop slip. We're gonna give this a try. Let's see what it does. I've actually already ordered a transmission for this thing, so it's coming in. It's gonna be put in this week. But I just wanted to see. I mean, I've seen some crazy videos online about this stuff actually working in cars. So let me go get this thing heated up. Let me show you what it's doing. We'll drop that in there, see if it has any improvement. All right, guys, so let's talk about this car a little bit while we're waiting for it to heat up so I can show you what it's doing. About maybe 4 years ago, we bought a camper, and that camper, when I went looking for one, I tried to find one that was within the specs of this vehicle, and so it was right at the max, like literally right at the max. And I think I had about 1,000 pounds of towing capacity left over for, you know, putting pots and pans and stuff like that inside the camper. Payload capacity, I was also right at the capacity with everybody in the car, which is 6 of us. These half tons don't have a whole lot of payload capacity, so you got to be really careful there. We would always backload the trailer, which isn't the best for trailer sway, but I never really had any issues with trailer sway. So we were essentially, I mean, quite literally at max tow every time we went out. And the first trip that we took with this car, we went up to the mountains, and everything was fine until we got into the mountains, and then I just noticed the transmission was starting to run hot. It ran hot. I felt like it was running hot at over 200 pretty much the whole way, but when we got into the mountains, it was creeping up. It got to 220, and I was really kind of getting concerned about it. As it was, I was only driving in 3rd gear pretty much all the time to keep the RPMs up and keep the transmission as cool as possible, which seemed to be working. I would pre-downshift for any hills, but when I got in the mountains, there was just no holding it back. And like I said, that was about 4 years ago. And that particular day, it got up. The transmission ended up right as we were pulling in to where we were going. It had gotten up to 250 degrees. It was too hot, and I knew at that time that was probably a bad deal. So when I got the car back home, I went ahead and did a transmission service on it. Got some new fluid in it, new filter. I also installed a Mishimoto transmission oil cooler, and I also upgraded the thermostat on the transmission from what came stock, which was clicking at 195 degrees, which to me was way too hot, to a new thermostat that I think GM is now recommending, and it clicks over at 165. After those upgrades were done, we never had any more trouble towing with it. It would occasionally get up to like 205, but it could always recover. And so it never got hot after that. But in the back of my mind, I always knew we had a trouble that was going to be coming my way. So now 4 years later, my wife's driving the car one day, and she stops at the school to do something with the kids. She gets back in the car, and the car won't go into gear. The handle would shift, you know, into drive, reverse, whatever, but the car physically wouldn't drive. It was just stopped. So we towed it over to a mechanic that was in town because it was like 30 miles away. I wasn't about to tow it all the way home. And the mechanic looked it over and he said, hey, your oil's burnt up in there, even though I've been changing it every year. There's a lot of metal in there. The filter's completely clogged, and it's not taking oil to the pump, and that's why it's not, you know, driving. So he said, what we're going to do is we're just going to clean it out. I'm going to put a new filter in it. And he did that. He drove it. He said, you know, I think it's okay, but you know, this thing can go out anytime. And so, you know, I was like, okay, fine. We took it home, and immediately I noticed the transmission was slipping. And so I called it back and I said, hey, let's just go ahead and get another transmission. So that's what we're doing. I got a new transmission on the way, a remanufactured transmission. They're going to be putting it in this week. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to try this Lucas stop slip. I've seen some videos online. I just wanted to see, does it actually work? So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm just driving it. I'm getting the transmission heated up, and then I'm going to show you guys what it's doing. All right, so we're kind of warmed up here. What you're going to see here is the RPMs just kind of slip up and down as we're going down the road here, maybe a couple hundred. There it is, see that? Whoa, yeah, that's completely slipped. Yeah, see there? I don't know how much time we've got on this transmission, guys. That's pretty bad. That slipped quite a bit. I think I'm gonna get closer to the house in case this thing goes completely. But let's, you guys see what's going on here. We're just going up a little rise. It's not even a hill. And she slipped completely out of gear. Or not out of gear, but she's slipping a lot. Okay. I think we might be out of transmission now. Shoot. Well, maybe we get to do this on the side of the road. It's not responding at all. All right, that's my luck. Let me get pulled over. Okay, so what started as a small slip is now a full-on slip. I don't have any hope for this Lucas, but what the hell, we'll give it a try and see what happens. I'm about, I don't know, 5 miles from home. Not even 5 miles, maybe 3 miles. So let's get it in the garage. Let's put some of this in it and just see what happens here. Okay, we made it back to the house. I just checked the transmission fluid and it's at the proper level. So just looking at this thing, it says renews worn transmission fluid. Probably the best way to do that is just do a fluid change, but it is what it is. It says here the Lucas transmission fix will be ineffective if the transmission has broken internal parts or the clutch bands packs are completely burned out, which we might be there. So I thought we'd give it a try. It says add to existing transmission fluid with the engine warm and idling or with the fluid change. A second bottle may be necessary in larger or badly worn transmissions. Smaller transmissions, compact or subcompact, use 12 ounces. This bottle is a total of 24 ounces. So this is all I've got. I've got one bottle, so we'll give that a try. What we're going to do is we're going to put it in here. I'm going to go ahead and start driving this down to the mechanic to leave it there in their lot because, yeah, I don't think this transmission's got a lot of life in it. But let's see what happens. You guys saw what it was doing. All right, here we go. This stuff is thick, man. I was surprised how thick it is. We'll just get it all dumped in there. Well, you can't put it too fast or it'll spill out. So let's probably get it thick. So we just got the stuff in the car. I don't know. What do you think? We're gonna make it. I gotta go about 25-30 miles here to the mechanic that's going to be working on it this week. You guys saw just how bad it was slipping. It was pretty much non-existent. I think the car might be in limp mode. I'm not really sure. I might clear the codes on it just so we can get some speed on the way. So leave down in the comments whether you think I'm going to make it or not. Here we go. 2 codes found. Let's see what they are. I think this one might be the transmission. Transmission control system. Yeah, that's kind of what we thought was going on. So let's go ahead. We're just going to erase these. All right, guys. So we're cruising along here. We're going about 65. We're in some hills. Seems to be running all right. It's still slipping. Nothing's really changed other than it's now not going 35 or 45. I think we were in limp mode previously. Yeah, we're heading down. We have about a 30-mile drive to the mechanic that's going to be looking at this vehicle. So, transmission fix, Lucas. So currently it's working. I mean, it's no worse than it was. Actually, it's probably a little bit better. It is still slipping. I could see that, but the car's not in limp mode and it is holding. I am feeling it slip. So yeah, this is a temporary fix at best. And that's what I'd say about all additives, guys. I'm not a big fan of additives. I personally think that, you know, we just need to get the cars repaired when they're not working right. There is one exception. I do like fuel additives. I think their ability to clean the injectors is good. So for every oil change, I do put in a little bit of fuel additive. I'm currently using the Royal Purple stuff. And, you know, it cleans the fuel system. And it keeps the injectors clear, so I'm pretty happy with that. But when it comes to these transmission fix in a can, you know, it's a temporary fix at best. Engine leak fixes, what else? Radiator stop leak, AC stop leak, all those things, no. And I don't know if they do or not, but it feels like, you know, I don't want that gunk kind of getting into my system and blocking up some other passages I might have, like, what do you call it, the small passages that are in the lifters and the MDS systems, or like in the case of the Chevy, I can't remember what they call it, but it's the fuel savings mode that cuts off 4 of the cylinders, and that mode there in particular is got a lot of small passages in it, and if that thing gets damaged, you can starve the lifters and have a lifter failure. So yeah, not a big fan of additives, but you know, in this case, $14, and I am gonna make it to the mechanic. That's way better than paying for a tow out to them 30 miles. So yeah, so far so good. Like I said, it is still slipping. That has not changed. What has changed is that it is not going back into limp mode, and I'm able to make it. I think I'll be able to make it. We're getting close to halfway there, so I'll let you know when we get there. So we're about there. We made it the 25-30 miles out. Just a couple things to note. One, the transmission's running slightly cooler. We haven't thrown a check engine light in these 30 miles. Transmission's still slipping. Kind of expected that. But it is running cooler. You can see right now it's slipping. See it? And she's coming back down. It was enough to get us there. So anyway, I'm about to turn in here. Guys, if you liked what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. I will talk to you next time.